How are we doing, guys? Welcome to the tasting notes to accompany part 3 of the Bonneville Survival Handbook. If you haven't seen the making video, head over to the Bonneville Cocktail Collection to watch that now, and come back here and join us for the rest of this one. First up, we're going to be raising the dead with a COUPE Survivor number 2. I'm just going to start by talking about the appearance of this cocktail, and I've always loved that pearlescent glow you get from it, and then you've got the maraschino cherry just lurking at the bottom like an evil eye waiting for you to get to the end of the drink. The aroma, I'm getting a big nose of absinthe just sitting here. We've sprayed it over the top, you can layer it, you can put it in the shaker, but I like to use the atomizer. So you get the aroma, but you've got 4 other ingredients in this drink, and you want to be able to pick them out, and I think you can in this drink. But putting the absinthe in the shaker with the rest of the ingredients, you're in danger of the absinthe overpowering the other ingredients. Let's have a taste. You certainly get the absinthe on the nose right up until the glass hits your lips. And then you get punched in the face with this beautifully well-balanced, zesty, aromatic, refreshing drink. And you can taste all of the 4 parts, and they're all playing their part. The lemon juice and the sherbety triple sec are balancing perfectly. The gin gives it that punch, and the Lillet Blanc gives it that aromatic finish. And whilst we're on that subject, and I did mention in the Bonneville Cocktail Collection video, before we get into this, I'm not married to either camp, but the original ingredient in the COUPE Survivor number 2 was Quina Lillet, which is no longer available, and Lillet Blanc is supposed to be the modern day version of it, but a lot of people believe that it doesn't really bear any resemblance to the original Quina Lillet, and that a Cocky Americano has more in common with Quina Lillet than Lillet Blanc. I didn't have any Cocky Americano, unfortunately, to try. I think the Cocky Americano would be great, but it would dry the drink out a little bit, so you'd have to counteract that with a bit more sweetener, maybe a dash of sugar syrup or a bit more of the cherry syrup. But don't get me wrong, this version is fantastic. It's hands down one of my favourite drinks. There's 6 or so variations on the COUPE Survivor, but Harry Craddock's COUPE Survivor number 2 from the SAVOY cocktail book from 1930 is without doubt my favourite. I'm not sure I've tried all of them. Of the ones I've tried, this stands out head and shoulders above the rest. One thing Harry Craddock did say is that although one of these will revive a corpse, 4 taken in quick succession will unrevive it again. So watch out. Alright guys, if this isn't one of the most popular drinks in the world, it's got to be the most famous, the martini. And this is going to be a tricky one to taste, again, a little bit like the old fashioned a few videos ago, because it all depends on what you've got in the glass. And whatever you like is the right thing to use. You know, an early incarnation of the martini would have had equal parts Old Tom gin, which is sweet, and sweet vermouth. And what we've got here is a fairly common modern serve of a dry martini, which is a lot of London dry gin and next to no dry vermouth. They're both right, and everything in between can call itself a martini. This is very much up to your taste, and I always go on about this on this channel, but it really is. I like to use a martini to showcase a really premium gin. I'm using Junipero here, which is juniper heavy. I've got a bit of dry vermouth in there just to add a bit of aroma to it, and then the lemon zest on top, which gives it that zest, and I can get that lemon zest off the nose just from sitting here. But this is one you really need to play with. If you've got a gin or a vodka that you love, start with a little bit of vermouth, work your way up. If you've got a gin or vodka that's not so great, or you want a more aromatic drink, go equal parts and work your way down. This is one you've really got to play with. This is one that I know you'll find a version that you'll love, but you've just got to work hard to find it. And this is a tasting video, so let's not forget to taste it. That for me is one of the most perfect cocktails in the world. It's got one of my favourite gins. It's super, super, super cold. The dry vermouth just accentuates all the botanicals in the gin, as does the lemon zest. It just gives it that, hits those top notes and just makes it just a beautiful, refreshing drink. This one's got that orange bitters in there as well, which just adds a little bit of complexity to it. I don't think it needs it, but I put it in there just for the sake of the demonstration. And if you are using a lesser quality spirit, that can just add a bit of extra flavour, a bit of complexity. You know, these are pretty strong. 2 or 3 of these, especially using an overproof gin, is going to be more than enough. And this one's not going to be to everyone's taste, but I truly believe there's a martini out there for everyone. and you need to find yours. All right, Trader Vic's Mai Tai, invented in 1955 in San Francisco by Trader Vic, Victor Bourgeon. Let's just dive straight in. Mai Tai means out of this world, and it just is. You've got the fresh mint and the orange, which hit you on the nose as you go in for the straw, and they really line you up. And then the first sip just knocks it out of the park. You know how much I love daiquiris, and this has everything I love about a daiquiri, plus this added tropical flavor from the orgeat and the triple sec. I don't know what else I can say about it. But please just keep it simple. Every ingredient is playing its part in this drink, and you can taste every single one, and you don't want to overcomplicate it or throw it off by using a spiced rum or pineapple juice or bitters, or there's 100 crazy ingredients that I've seen going into Mai Tais. Just don't do it. At least try this first and then tell me this is not the best. All right guys, the penicillin, possibly one of the best of the modern classic cocktails, only invented in 2005 by Sam Ross at the New York Milk and Honey. Essentially it's just a riff on a whiskey sour with ginger and honey. Let's have a taste. Well, of course, if you watch me make this drink over on the Bonneville Cocktail Collection, we've got that peated Scotch spray over the top of the drink, so you immediately get that smoke on the nose. But after that, you've got honey and spice. It's tart, but it's at the same time well balanced. The ginger is very present, but it doesn't overpower the honey. And then you've got the maltiness and the strength coming from the Scotch. It's a great drink, and another one of my favourites. Let's have another go. Yeah, really well balanced. Smoky, spicy, it's really, really delicious. One area where people go wrong with this drink, I think, is the ginger syrup, and I've seen loads of videos that reference Sasha Petresky's book on the recipe for this, but then make the ginger syrup in a completely different way to how he makes it in the book, and I think it's important that you get that right, and all we've done is juice a load of ginger root and then take equal parts ginger juice and caster sugar to make a syrup. Very simple. I don't think you need to do any infusions or anything like that, because you want to get that balance right and you don't want that ginger to be overpowering. And then we've used 2-to-1 honey syrup, as we always do, and those just balance perfectly with the lemon. I think the only difference between this version and the original version and the version regarding cocktails is that the peated Scotch was laid over the top and I've sprayed it with an atomizer, and that is purely coming from a high volume cocktail bar background. It's way easier to grab an atomizer and spray it than carefully layer Scotch over the top. It's just a speed and consistency thing, but it's totally fine if you want to layer it. I prefer that version because you can get some on the glass as well, so you just get that whole aroma without it overpowering the drink. That's the way I like to do it. You try your version. All right, last but not least, the chrysanthemum. This is another Harry Craddock classic from his 1930 Savoy cocktail book. Let's give it a go. I love this drink. I don't know what it is about it. You know, it's a low ABV drink, but the Dom Benedictine and the absinthe really give it weight and body. But there's so much dry vermouth in there that it still has a light aromatic side to it as well. It's easy to drink. It would make a fantastic aperitif. But again, this is another one you've really got to play around with the ingredients. There's so many vermouths on the market now. You know, 20 years ago, there was probably only half a dozen you could choose from. Now there's dozens and dozens from all over the world, the UK, Australia, not just France and Italy. To play around with the vermouth, because it is such a large portion of the drink, whichever one you use is going to have a massive effect on the end result. And play with the Benedictine and absinthe ratios as well. I think Harry Craddock's original version only had 2 drops, maybe 2 dashes. I've got 10 ml in there, so you know, you can really taste the absinthe. I like absinthe. If you don't, bring it down. Benedictine adds a bit of sweetness. I forgot to talk about the big orange zest on there. That really gives a nice orange zestiness on the nose. But this is a really underrated drink and not very well known. So if you need a low ABV drink that's still complex and tasty, or an aperitif that's not going to get you shit-faced, give this one a go. All right guys, thanks for watching, and thank you so much for all the positive comments we've been getting on this channel. We're really happy in the direction it's going. It feels like there's a really special community building already. So please keep that up. Please keep telling us what you want to see here on The Distilled Truth. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you next time.